Alrighty, welcome back to Lesson from the Mat. I'm your host, Jakar Oropalo. Today's guest is Ross Turbo-Levin, three-time middleweight world champion, a former Glory kickboxing competitor, entrepreneur, and the owner of Turbo Kickboxing Academy. Ross has spent years competing at the high level in kickboxing, while also building a coaching and a business career around the sport. Throughout his journey, he's seen the evolution of combat sports, from the karate circuits to the modern platform of kickboxing and karate combat. In this episode, we're going to dive into his competitive career, learn about the ins and outs of the gym business, the brand development, athlete development, and how combat sports continues to evolve. So, Ross, thank you for joining, my friend.
Man, thank you. The only thing you left out was dad.
Dad.
My most precious title.
Okay.
Yes,
So
this is Drew.
Drew.
This is Coach Drew. She's the best. 8 months old. She's awesome.
So, being a dad, being a competitor, being a business owner, you wear so many hats. And I'm not even going to ask you which one's your favorite hat because we can just see you right now.
This one right here.
So I ask you this, growing up, so we kind of talked about before we hit record about, the background of your journey in martial arts, but what got you to start that journey?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a martial artist. My grandfather was in the military. He fought in World War II. I have a long bloodline of people fighting and,
Yeah.
Being in some type of combat, whether it was sport or war or streets or anything like that. But what's funny enough is I actually never really wanted to do martial arts. I was very rambunctious kid. I was always wanting to be outside and playing sports with my friends in the schoolyard. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. A lot of those blacktop sports, basketball, baseball, stickball, football, all that stuff. I was rollerblading a lot. Like some of my earliest memories with martial arts was actually my brother doing it. My brother had gotten bullied a little bit around that 8, 9-year-old mark. And my dad put him in martial arts. And then, I remember my brother taking classes and I'd be rollerblading up and down the block, never wanted to sit still and take direction from people. I was kind of my own guy and wanted to do my own thing. And I remember my brother just he went to a little inter-school tournament and won a trophy. And when he came home with that trophy, I was like, ooh, that's what I want right there. So my dad's like, all right, well, if you want to do that, you gotta start. That's right. So I started and I honestly never looked back. I started when I was 7 years old doing Taekwondo in New York City and just slowly but surely kind of picked up on some other stuff.
So that's interesting. And I feel like the more I do these interviews, the more I find out about competition, martial arts, wasn't really the original focus. But once you got into it, was it the trophy? Was it the rush? Was it the euphoric feeling of winning? What kept you going?
Man, I think it was just I loved, at an early age, I found out that I was really just so into being competitive. I
Okay.
was just so competitive with my friends in everything, not just combat sports.
Okay.
I was competitive playing Monopoly. I was competitive playing checkers. You know what I mean? I just hated to lose, loved winning, loved the sensation of doing something that I enjoyed and winning. Okay. I'd be in the schoolyard playing basketball with my friends. I'd lose, be like, play again. And I'm playing again till I win. It was just I was just so competitive. And maybe it's you look at all the movies and stuff, and it's oh, you should always start martial arts for self-help and stuff like that and development. It's nah, I wanted to do it because I just wanted to compete.
Yeah.
Now, the longer I did it, obviously, now hindsight being 2020, every single good moment that happened in my life is in some way partly because of the martial arts. All the values that I've taken and learned from martial arts it just stuck by me, and I'll never not do martial arts. And it's one of the reasons why I opened up a gym now that I'm retired from professional combat. I want to give that gift back to more people so I can affect people like me.
Yeah.
Give people another outlet to do some cool stuff.
So, I'm trying to think that was a big of a pause. Going from the stages of starting martial arts, competing, being a coach, opening up your own gym, and really just competing at the highest levels in so many different platforms, what was the biggest learning curve out of all that being said?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I can like absolutely put my finger on was going from the transition in sport karate to then kickboxing. Like when I started my amateur kickboxing career, that was always the hardest. And I think that's what I tell everyone else when they are doing a similar transition as I am, is you gotta like respect the inside boxing. Because I mean, you know, as a point fighter growing up, you get in, you get out.
Yep.
Or you get in and then the action stops and you kind of like walk away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in real combat, you don't have that luxury, right? You got to be able to protect yourself on the inside. There are shots that come from different angles, you know, so you just got to be prepared for all that. So I think the biggest transition for me was going from sport karate to learning how to box on the inside and getting comfortable and competent there. And then, you know, starting to excel in that area as well.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest.
So I bet, but that also could definitely be a pro as well, having that mental thought process of like being first, you know,
Oh, no doubt.
you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
So
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that was never an issue.
yeah,
Know, being able to close the distance and read and react a little bit faster.
yeah,
You know, my coach told me, you know, he always used to compliment me and saying like, listen, we know you're not necessarily the strongest or the fastest or the most athletic out of anybody in your weight class, but he would always say that my computer works faster than everybody else, like
yes,
my brain. The ability to diagnose what's happening and make the adjustment like immediately in seconds. Where, you know, most people, even you look across combat sports right now, and if they adjust from fight to fight and like make good changes, that's pretty impressive.
yeah,
And then if you could do it from like round to round, that's even better.
hmm,
But the elite athletes in the world, it's like exchange to exchange. You know, you can make those adjustments, never make the same mistake twice. So I really pride myself on studying hard and making sure I could do that because I don't have the elite athletic skills or the genetic prowess of like an Alex Pereira or an Israel Adesanya. Those
yeah,
guys are. I'm not 6'4". I don't have arms that could reach you through the screen. You know, so I had to develop these other weapons, mainly like my fight IQ, to really develop and be competitive at a super high level. And I think the point karate really helped that big time.
So for people that not so much like started on the karate side or the traditional side
Mm.
and they wanted to get into kickboxing, what do you think most people misunderstand about kickboxing?
I think people look at kickboxing as it's like this next level of violence. You know, from the outside looking in, of course it is. Like you're seeing people get knocked out. Where in point fighting, it's not really the goal. Like it happens, but it's usually an accident.
Yeah,
It's not meant to be that way. But I think long term, you actually take less damage from sports like kickboxing and MMA because when you get knocked out, fight's over.
yeah,
You know, so a lot of times like or you get knocked down, you get a chance, and then the fight ends usually pretty quickly after that. So you know the violence, although it looks like on a grander scale, just from a viewership standpoint, it's probably safer. I've gotten hurt way more doing sport karate than I have kickboxing and karate combat stuff like that because it's constant collision, collision, collision. It's like every single fight, you think of like 10 to 15 car crashes, you know? My body would get so beat up doing sport karate. And like when I transitioned and started doing kickboxing and then karate combat and everything, like I was way healthier. I'm way healthier now.
yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, I think that's what the biggest misconception is that it's like much more crazy, violent sport. It is, but short term.
Short term. Interesting. All right. So what technical habits do you think younger fighters neglect today?
Ooh, that's a great question. Man, footwork and feints.
Mm.
Footwork and feints. You see my footwork. I got a footwork. Drop the baby off. Pick the baby. My footwork is still elite now with the baby. She's mobile now, so my footwork's
You
real
got to be
good.
really quick.
But I gotta be quick. I gotta be quick now. She's moving, standing, trying to walk. She's crazy. But yeah, I think footwork and feints. Footwork and
Gotcha.
feints. Like when I'm studying film, even for some of my fighters, like I coach a lot of amateur fighters and I work with a lot of the pros here in the Northeast. Like I'm cornering Mitch Raposo in a
Okay.
little less than or maybe about a month in Vegas for his next UFC fight. So I've been working with him. Some of the things that I analyze first, like when someone says they want to work with me, it's like, all right, I'm going to start watching tape, watching film, and see at the foundational level, where's your footwork? Are you doing the right things? Are you feinting? How do you cover distance? Because even like again, man, at the elite level, there's guys that just walk straight into the fire, and you can still be successful. Now, if we add a little bit more to it, like sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. So
Now,
yeah, it's really cool.
do you feel like that comes from the culture? Does it come from just lack of experience of maybe what the coach can provide? Like, why do you feel like so many people neglect that?
I wouldn't say it's on the coaches
Yeah,
like neglect. I don't think coaches neglect it. I
yeah,
think there's just, like anything else. Like you talk to me about boxing and then you have a conversation with Freddie Roach about boxing. I'm not neglecting the things that Freddie Roach knows, but
right
like
on.
years and years and years of experience doing that, it's just that's the priority, right? Now you talk to me about footwork and you talk to another coach about footwork for MMA, maybe there's a little bit of a gap, right? And just because my experience with sport karate was so predominantly footwork based, timing based, how to cover distance. So like that's just what my strong suit is,
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't say it's neglect. I think it's just that's where I'm really strong and that's
Stronger.
where my mind goes. But I do think you're starting to see it now more so. It's making this like big comeback with MMA. Like if you see some of the most successful fighters in the world right now, you look at a guy like Ilia Topuria. His footwork is incredible and his timing is really good. He feints his way in, he's patient, throws combinations, moves on angles, frames. Like that's kind of the meta right now for MMA, striking in MMA.
Yeah,
So you're seeing that make a big comeback, and coaches are prioritizing that a little bit
yeah,
more too.
yeah. And I didn't mean to come off like in a negative way of like, oh, people are just
Yeah,
doing bad. But yeah, that's always been like for the past few years, such a common answer, like footwork and feints. And so just wanted to pick your brain on that one. And
yeah. I
so,
think it's making its rise back again because at the end of the day, you can build all the best skills in the world. Like you take Alex Pereira for example. Everybody knows. I'm sure you've studied Alex Pereira, right?
yes,
If
sir,
there was one technique that you did not want to get hit with from that guy, what would it be?
his left hook.
His left hook. So you can have Alex Pereira's left hook, but if you can't get to the position to land it, it's
Yeah,
useless,
it's
right?
useless.
It's useless. So, it's like having the best gun in the world with no bullets. Like how do you can't do nothing with
Can't do
it,
anything.
So like you got to be able to get there. And I think coaches are starting to realize either I need to be able to get to certain spots where I can be successful or get to certain spots where my opponent can't be successful. So it kind of
Mm,
works both ways. And
definitely.
that's where the shift in like striking in MMA is going right now, I think.
Interesting. And so, do you think social media has changed how people train or view fighting then?
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's just like the age now with like combat sports and MMA is like there's so much available online, right?
Yeah.
Some good, some bad, but if you use it the right way, it's such an amazing tool. Like you go way back when the UFC first started, YouTube didn't exist.
Nope.
You couldn't go online and like YouTube and watch. All right, let me go watch all of Chuck Liddell's fights and see if I can figure out some patterns. Like
Yeah.
you just had to show up and you got the Iceman standing in front of you. Now it's like if I got to go and fight somebody like an Alex Pereira, it's like okay, there's hundreds of videos of not only him competing, but there's little clips of him training. There's little clips of him sparring, hitting pads, like hitting a heavy bag. So if you have this like analytical mind, you could really start breaking stuff down. I think the other guys that really started making this super popular and like talking about it, you look at like the fight nerds, right?
Yeah.
These guys are their coaches in the back room are so analytical, but it's that the blueprint is out, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why this game is so advanced, just because the information is at your fingertips every single day. While you're sleeping, I'm going to be studying fights. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's just one of those things where the information is plentiful. If you know how to utilize it, yeah, social media is amazing for that.
So then, quick footwork again.
Yeah, yeah. Quit more. Another move. Making moves, making moves. She's like, no, I don't want to be by myself. I want to see what's going on over
I want
here.
to be on the show. Come on now.
She's like, I want to be on TV,
And you're
Dad.
like, I got some opinions about footwork
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how we need to change the angle.
That's right. Let's talk about your jab.
But going back to it though, with social media giving so many people so much information and access to all this beautiful information all around the world, do you feel like now that can sometimes start to like cloud our judgment? Like too much information's that we're trying to like digest?
Yeah, I think you just got to be really good now at picking on what you
Yeah.
like and what is good and what is not good. It's like to each their own, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of information, but with that information, you can definitely go down rabbit holes of stuff that maybe doesn't suit your game. Where now you're seeing a lot of copycat information.
Yeah.
Where like, okay, if I really enjoy watching somebody like Sean O'Malley, right? I can't move like Sean O'Malley, but maybe the more I study him, the more I'm going to try, and it might just not be right for my body frame.
Yeah.
So, I think that's at the end of the day, the access to information is amazing because it's better to have it than not have it. But that's where it comes down to. You got to have a good coach that understands like how to do what's best for you. Like I'm all for like emulate, try and like explore and experiment, but having a coach that's going to help like really lock things down for you and show you how to be successful is like that's key.
And then my last super technical question is, I take that back. I'll probably have another technical question. What are some common mistakes you see in the sparring culture still today?
Ah, man, just people going way too hard.
Yeah.
Way too hard. Like we call it CTE Saturdays, right? You don't need to be killing each other in the gym. Like some of the best fighters in the world, and especially in the boxing community, you'll never, ever, ever know their name because they're never going to make it out of the gym.
Yeah.
So it's really unfortunate that you see people like that, and it happens everywhere. It's part of every gym. There's some people that just feel like they need to win every training round, and you know, um, again, I think it comes down to culture and coaching, where everybody can get better without trying to absolutely crush each other. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for hard rounds. If you're going to be a high level competitor, you need to know what that feels like before you get into the ring or the cage or the pit or whatever it might be. But there's also ways to do it in a controlled environment where we can still focus on getting better and not injure each other. You know, I should be able to hit you and it should hurt, but I'm not going to injure you. I'm not going to stop you from being able to train the next week, and more importantly, go home to your family or go to work or make a living, like whatever you need to do. Some people don't know how to separate that stuff. It's like every time they step in the gym, it's a fight. You just can't get better that way.
So then, how do you resolve that conflict at your gym? Like, what's something that is it like a go to phrase that you have? Is it more like a progression that people have to like get to in
Mm.
order to spar? How do you compromise with that one?
Yeah, well, sparring is invite only at my gym. And when I say that, I'm not like crazy closed off. Like we do have a lot of very new people that are sparring, but you have to demonstrate a couple things. There's a bit of a checklist that I need to go through before I say, "Hey, let's bring you into sparring."
Yeah.
Number one, you have to be competent in what you're doing, not just on offense but on defense. So when you're hitting the bag, you have to show me that there's good control. You know how to hit softly, you know how to hit hard, you know how to use control, hit the right targets at the right times. You also have to be a good partner, right? You need to show me that when you're even like working partner drills with someone or holding pads, that you're not just there for yourself. You're not just worried about, okay, I'm going to get, bless you, I'm
Bless
not
you.
just going to get a really good workout. And then my partner's going to be like, well, all right, cool. See you later, right? You have to show me that you're willing to be helpful. So from a cultural standpoint, if you're not all about, one of the cues I tell my people all the time is like, you got something to say?
Let me talk. Let me talk,
I
man.
know, I know. She's like, ask me a question. But I tell my students all the time, like, your number one priority, if you can put yourself in the mindset when you step on the mat, that your main priority is going to be to help your partner get better that day, then everybody gets better. Because if that's everyone's mentality, I'm going to help you, you're going to help me, we're all going to get better. And I can't help you without me being in a good mindset of like, that still requires me to work hard. You know what I'm saying? Like if you and I are partners in a class and my priority is going to get you better, I still have to be a really good partner. I've got to be super technical. I have to be sharp. I've got to keep my eyes open. I have to like know what I'm looking for. And then I also have to be able to give you positive cues and good feedback. But if I'm just in it for myself, I don't care about you. If I injure you, I don't care. I just need to get better. So that's just that's a culture killer. And I think when people do that, for me, that's number one of like, when I see that energy, you're ready to spar, right? Come in, get your work. And then even then, like we have, it's like an all levels type of sparring room where we do have a lot of like higher level competitors. And if they need hard rounds, they know who to come to. They go to the other advanced students, they communicate that, or they come to me. They're not going to go and like, fish for like the little
Yeah.
fish. They're going to go with the other sharks in the room. So, the culture is strong, and we have a good way of communicating that within our classes.
Yeah. It's, and I like talking about that because I do feel like it's getting better in today's time. I might be a little bit biased um, on saying that, but I do feel like we're getting better. And it's not always from like from my friends' gyms that I've always seen like the beautiful culture of like, hey, we're not gonna swing and bang. We're here to get better. We're here to grow. And like you said, there is
Yeah.
a time and a place where, and it's still in a controlled environment, we can up the tempo, but no one needs to be leaving here, not remembering how to get back home. So,
Come on, man. Yeah, it's crazy. But you also look at like really successful gyms. They're not necessarily promoting like fights, and maybe they are, but they're not. They're also working with like Gen Pop.
yeah,
So you can't have a successful gym and have it only be fighters unless you're like a fight gym in Vegas.
yeah,
That's a totally different environment, right? But for your average city and place, that's not named Las Vegas, like it's pretty hard to have a successful gym without running a program that is open to all and like welcoming to all. So
yeah.
I think that's part of why you're seeing this, like, martial arts can be a business. Back in the day, I'm sure, how old were you when you started martial arts?
8.
Okay, so 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So right, so 20 years ago even the mentality was, well, we're either going to have a small school with a lot of really good students and I'm going to be broke,
yep,
or I'm going to have a huge school and I'm going to be rich but all my students are going to suck.
yeah,
So it's like we've bridged that gap over the years. So now you're seeing both. There's no reason why I can't be a successful business owner and have nice things and feel good about where I'm at in my life and also build really good quality students.
yeah.
So I think you can absolutely do both. It just takes work.
It does take work. It takes a lot of work that most people don't understand sometimes. And having that said, you built both a competitive and a business identity. How difficult is that sometimes to balance, or if at all?
Well, right now it's easy because I'm
Yeah,
not competing
not,
anymore.
that's fair.
I also made it very clear to all the people around me that I would never try and open a gym and compete at a high level at the same time.
Gotcha.
How many world champions do you know that own a gym? Active world champions.
Mm-mm. Very few, if any. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Teixeira did it. So Glover was able to do that, run a very successful gym, um, and become a world champion. I'm trying to rack my brain now.
yeah,
It's hard. It's hard to do, man. You can't split. You can't split in both ways. So for me, it was very easy because my circle is very tight. Everyone knew my goals, and I stuck to that, and I was very true to myself and honest with myself, and I knew that I wanted to focus here and be competitive. And now, all right, my competition career is done. I'm happy to close that book on it. You're not going to see me coming out of retirement anytime soon for anything where I'm just going to like put everything on hold.
yeah,
Right now is the season right now is this little lady, my
yeah.
gym, and my marriage. I'm building those three things, and when those
Beautiful.
three things become in great, under really good control, and they're a little bit more self-sufficient. If it's something that I want to do at that point, which I really can't see myself doing it again. It would be they would have to throw a crazy bag at me to do that, to pull me away from all this. But yeah, so I'm very confident and comfortable with where I am in my life right now. But being able to separate was always really important for me. Yeah, so I'll have
Beautiful.
to stand up. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gonna be fighting. She's in the gym every day, man. She's ready. She got a good left hook too.
Got a
Boom, boom,
little
boom, boom.
uppercut. I see. Got the
Oh,
head
yeah,
movement.
yeah. She's working. She's working on it. We're still working on standing, without the little wobble, but she's good. She's good, man. We're
Oh, that's
getting
so
there. We're getting
beautiful.
there.
In today's time, how important is branding in combat sports now?
Man, it's everything. I
Yeah.
mean, I still had a hard time with that. Yeah, it's everything. You got to know how to brand yourself because it is a business. It is a massive business, and when you can I think a lot of times that's where people go wrong is it's like they want to try so hard to either go to one end of the extreme, and it's okay to be in the middle, right? You can stick to your roots and be like, I'm not going to fall into that whole thing, and like I don't need that. I just need to perform well in fights. Sure, but you might not get those opportunities because you're not marketing yourself. Promoters don't want to hire somebody, and if you think about it like that, when they match you up to a fight, they're hiring you to promote their business, right? You are fighting for their organization. The job is to make them look good. You are the talent, but they are the business. So, it's like having a really great employee. No one's going to go and like, for example, you go to a restaurant and you have like the best waiter or the best waitress and they make your experience so good. You're going to go back to the restaurant. You're not going to go to that waiter's house and be like, hey, can you cook me dinner? Like, no, you're going to go back to the restaurant because they provided a great experience, right? So that's what combat sports is. Like when you fight for the UFC is hiring you to come there and put on a damn show.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't put on the show, if you don't market yourself, you don't do the right things and put on a great fight, they have no reason to keep you. Doesn't matter how talented you are. So I think it's very important. Now, on the flip side, if that's all you do and you can't back it up with actually performing, yeah, you could be the biggest character, but if you don't actually go and do the job,
Then
who cares?
who cares?
So I think being able to do both is really important. I was my competition career, I was just kind of hitting that mark where I was starting to market myself a little bit, and then I think just time was, not on my side. I started my professional career late. So it's something that because I had another job and was getting ready to open a gym and things like that, it's like, well, I'm going to go do this instead of like trying to build this brand of who Ross Levine is. It wasn't really important to me. But now, like my fighters, I'm like, hey, you guys got to get marketing deals. You got to talk to these companies. You got to learn how to, become popular in the community and then in the region and then nationally, internationally.
You hear this topic a lot, and I just want, and it's not trying to me get to a bashing state or talk negative at all. What do you think promoters and organizations can still need to improve?
I mean, consistency, right? Whatever you are or whatever you want to be, as long as you are continuously that, I don't care what the like the population talks smack about you.
Yeah.
As long as you can consistently show your cards and be exactly who you say you are, I think that's really valuable. There are some promotions that try to be one way, but then behind the scenes are a different way. And then you see different things in their product and nothing quite aligns. It's a little too messy versus, listen, there's a lot of people that criticize the UFC, but they are exactly who they say they are. They don't try to hide it. They don't try to, change their attitude on certain things. Like they are exactly who they say they are. And you know what you're getting with them. So I think hey, you agree? She's like, yeah. Yeah, I think the consistency as a promoter, if you're a promoter getting ready to, start your own thing, I think just being consistent across the board, right?
She
And
cracks
she's
me
just
up.
all smiles, huh, dude? She's cute as hell, dude. I can't, man. I can't. She's the best.
Oh,
She's such a good baby too. We were very fortunate.
that's beautiful. That is very beautiful, my friend.
Yeah.
And so another thing you kind of hear a lot of people talk about when it comes to questions and advice, you had a very beautiful career in the combat sports. And how did you handle setbacks or period when motivation was low?
Yeah, motivation is going to be low. Discipline when it comes to motivation, right? It's more important to be disciplined than motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've probably heard this, and like for the people who are going to be watching this podcast, you may have heard those quotes that motivation is fleeting.
Yeah.
There's going to be days where you don't want to get up out of bed. You don't want to go to your second practice or third practice of the day. You don't want to eat clean diet. You're struggling. Maybe mentally you're like upset, a little depressed. Like that happens. Fighters are going to go through that all the time. There is no way around it. Anybody who says that they don't go through that, they are completely lying through their teeth. So the important thing is that you can fall back on your discipline.
Yeah.
That whenever, one of the things that I always tried to do is that when those opportunities, or I should say, when those moments popped up, where I did feel like I was losing motivation, I always I tried to flip it on like, these are opportunities for me to exercise discipline.
Yes.
Right. So I kind of flip it into a positive where it's like, all right, well, maybe I don't feel great today, but I wasn't supposed to, right? Like I've been working hard all week. I've been working hard these last couple months. Maybe a fight fell through or whatever it is, or I lost my last fight. It's like I'm not supposed to feel great right now, but I have an opportunity to be really disciplined and now do the right thing moving forward. So, bro, you did not know that this podcast was going to be an absolute zoo. This is my cat. Hello, this is Piper. Get out of here. Dude, my whole family is mayhem in this house. I'm just thinking, can you get your ass out of the TV, bro? You're gonna cut this, right? You're gonna clip this up. You're gonna clip all this, right? I'm just glad, dude. Oh, thank God, my wife's here. I got a French bulldog too, dude. Look at this knucklehead.
Oh my.
I got a French bulldog too.
He's just out.
Thank goodness she's not
She's
acting up.
out.
Thank God. Oh my God, it's wild.
Oh,
My house is just chaos, and I love it. Yeah, man, this is life, bro.
you gotta love it.
Oh
You gotta
man,
love it.
it's the best. It's the best. It really is. It's everything I could have hoped for a post career. Now, if I was still competing and had to deal with all this, I would be a lunatic. But the fact that I like don't have any obligations except for these, my daughter, my two cats, my dog, my wife, my gym, like whatever.
Hey,
Who's got it better than me? I wake up every day. I'm like, who's got it better than me? Honestly,
a lot of us
I
are
feel
trying to
so
get to
good
that
about it.
point, so I envy
Yeah,
that.
it's not easy, man. It's not easy. It's not easy. You can be rich in many ways.
That is.
Here we go.
Well, my friend, let me ask you this: What do you think? What do you think defines success now compared to earlier in your life?
Oh man, I mean, you're looking at it
You're
right
looking
now.
at it
I
right
mean, like
now.
gosh, yeah. I mean, if you would have asked me when I was 25 or even 18 what my life was going to look like, it totally, totally different. And thank God it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go when I was younger, because maybe I wasn't mature enough. Maybe I wasn't prepared for it. The reinforcements have arrived, so but yeah, it's just like, man, the definition of success is so fluid, right? Because what is success for me now wasn't success. Like this wasn't even on my radar 8 months ago. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was competitive, the definition of success is like, well, you're only as good as your last fight. So, you got to go out and you got to win, be productive, and get better and better every single time.
Yeah,
Now my definition of success is, am I, waking up and just happy and excited every day? I'm super excited to be going to my.
yeah, we're good. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, yes, interesting. Like I said, one day, I'm gonna be on the same boat, and I'll be like, hey, one day. Looking back into your career, is there a fight you lost that taught you more than a win? Yeah. Mm, yeah. 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 Right on. Yeah. Fight is a fight. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Got to. Yep. Happen. Yep. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire questions. I don't want you to think too much of it. Just first thing that comes to your head. Favorite strike to land. Hardest strike to get hit with. Yeah. Favorite fighter to watch growing up. Ooh. Okay. That that's an answer. That's a solid answer. Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Current fighter to watch today. Active. Taporia. Okay. Best fight atmosphere you ever experienced. Yeah. Ooh, both. I want to hear that was a good take on that one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All righty. All right. Let's see. What is your biggest pet peeve in a gym? Oh. All right. Don't have a stinky gym. Don't. Please don't. All righty. And then last but not least, most underrated skill in kickboxing. Thanks. Okay. Fan game. All right. And so I end off every podcast with this question. Is the question that really made me start this podcast. What is the greatest lesson the mat has taught you about life? Ha. I like that. Sir. Well, my friend, this was an amazing conversation. I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate the special. It was an honor to see that special guest of yours on our podcast. Yeah. Hey, I did. It's real, yeah. I got the whole fam. Well, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, my friend. Look forward to potentially having you on again. And I definitely now need to go visit you guys. I gotta take a trip from good old Georgia up there. Heck, yeah. I appreciate. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, my friend. I hope you know that